Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Day for yesterday we were reading out the dialogue between devotee and Papa, which was brought out on the 31st December under the heading Chanting the Password to Connect to the Divine Within. Papa is gently drawing our attention. The purpose of chanting is to somehow connect ourselves with Him. So He is the password. Without password we cannot enter into the laptop or computer or anything, Very important word. Though after that it has no use. But to enter into that, we need the password. So we must always bear this. We should not forget the password. Password alone enables us to enter into it and make use of it. So God is seated within. We have to enter into His chamber. The open system, We have been told that we must take to this chanting. Chanting is the key that unlocks. Papa says somewhere, it unlocks. So that bhavana should be there, so that the real purpose of chanting can be had. So we have covered a few. Dissolving the ego. Devotee, very often we make efforts to put down pride. And we often are proud at having made the very effort to get rid of it. See? We make efforts to put down pride, and we often are proud at having made the very effort to get rid of pride. How can it be got rid of? Unknowingly, the pride comes back again, We don't know that. We are explaining to others, somehow this was harassing me. Somehow I got over it. But the fellow is still there. Papa, the best way to get rid of pride is to compare ourselves with God. If we think constantly of the glory, greatness, magnificence of God, our ego sense naturally ceases to assert itself and gradually dwindles into nothing. The moment we forget Him, the ego comes up, makes us say that we are doing everything, that we are clever, we are intelligent, and so on. So if we keep our mind engaged in constant thought of God, there is no room for the ego to exist. It is not by fighting darkness that you make it disappear, but by bringing in light. So by bringing into the mind the greatness, the omnipresent, the omniscient, the infinity, the eternity of God, automatically the ego sense disappears, as it cannot stand before the glory of God. We all read this, we can understand, we can appreciate, we fully agree with Papa. But the thing is, we should remember that, that has to be done by us. That cannot be done by anybody else. And when we are even in external activities, I think here we find external activities help us more and more of God's glory easily. Because when suppose we are working in a field, when we are making the land ready for use. Suddenly we start remembering. This is the land on which I put the seeds, and when I water it, when I nurture it, when I manure it, again the watering, the nurturing, the manure, everything comes from, not from me. How the seed sprouts, breaks, how it sprouts, becomes a plant. In the case of a paddy, we can't say it grows into a tree, but when it reaches the age of maturity, the flowering takes place, pollination takes place, then slowly the rice is inside, the husk is developed. After the husk, a milk type produce gets there. It gets slowly solidified, and when it reaches the state of maturity, either we harvest it or it gives back to the mother earth. Just like that, when we are in the field, we can definitely see everything. How in the form of Mother Nature, He provides everything. And there is an unwritten law for everything. We cannot violate that law. It is strict, it goes strictly in accordance with the law. All that we can do is, suppose there is no rain, probably we can irrigate, we can do sprinkler irrigation or drip irrigation. For that also we need water. So the Papa is asking us to bring down the pride. How to do that? He suggests that we should think about the glory. It would be better if all of us look out, or when anything comes before us, we just go to the genesis of it, how it has come to my table in this form. A cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or even the newspaper which we read, or even the TV which gives us news, or the laptop that enables us to store so many folders, help us to initiate so many thoughts and activities. For all that it needs that electricity. So electricity plus the gadgets help me to bring out what is inside. It enables me to correct myself and present it beautifully. So anything other than, objects. Suppose we try to go the origin and how it makes me. Suppose you say I am a good writer. Alphabets. How he helped me with the alphabets. Like that, we try. We may fail, we may forget. This may also become an academic exercise. This may become an intellectual understanding. So it purely rests on our own initiative. Nobody can help us. That is why when we are asked to do puja, even if we don't understand any meaning of anything, suppose we go through the glories, we chant. we will find various manifestations. Any upside. This is what is meant. I am not in a position to do that. I am busy with my family challenges, professional challenges, social challenges, personal challenges. How am I to remember? You need not. You attend the puja, for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. There you are doing, You are bringing. Just like now we have started realizing, whenever we make any prayer in the bhajan hopper, we don't simply go. Not that we are successful, but at least everywhere there is a break. What do you call that? When you travel in the road, hump. Not that you can straight away do like that. Now there is a lot of humps there now. Speed breaker. Speed breaker are there. O Lord of the universe, O Creator, Protector, Destroyer of the world, I come in all humility. There is a breaker there now. I am not doing it, no. Please help me to do that. I come in all humility to thy holy feet, surrender myself entirely to thee, deign to bless me ever with thy remembrance. All these things keep on. Suddenly you will find it. Make me thine and thine only. Adorable presence. Immediately, first we say, then the entire first 3-4 lines, speed breaker only. Eye of the eye. So like that, we have been asked to devise some method by which we try to put down the supremacy, prominence of the pride. We personally don't think that we should think about this pride. Because when we think about the pride and then to get over the pride will remain. But instead of that, we will try to see the magnificence of or the glories of God. When we went to the canteen, they gave us curds today. Immediately, we think, what a beautiful arrangement you have made. You have brought the cow, milking is done, milk is boiled, a little bit of, in the night, a little bit of buttermilk is poured in it, and the whole vessel becomes curd in the morning. No outside agency has worked. In the sense, now that we have gone and done something. How the process, how you made the natural forces to make that process, by which the milk gets converted into curd, and then you somehow prompted the human being that there is butter there. So some churning, either manual or nowadays machine, they remove the butter and then the buttermilk. There is when a cup full of curd is served to us, we immediately think about the wonderful process he has designed for us. That law we did not make. It was not passed in any assemblies or parliament. But it's a law. It's a law which knows no exception. If you do anything wrong in it, you will not get the curd. You will spoil the milk, that's all. So this, like that, suppose we start thinking about it, right from the minutest, that law. Peace Pilgrim used to say, the physical law and the spiritual law. Probably that attempt might reduce the dominance of pride in us. I cannot do that. I exist because of certain things like food, like air, like water. Though I feel I have the capacity to dictate what food should I take, still you have to take some food, You have to take water. And if I don't go to toilet one day finished, I am uneasy. Then I start thinking about the unwritten law. He makes us to eat the food in its grossest form. Then whatever is needed for the body, for the bone, for the blood, He makes us to take it from it. And then whatever is left over has to be purged out. When the kidney does not function, when we rush for dialysis, then only we realize what a brilliant apparatus they have put it. Unknowingly, if I violate, I get violated. I have to go. Think about it. Anything, Even to digest the food, what all arrangements he has made. The teeth to grind, the saliva to cover the whole thing. And then when it is ground properly, when it goes inside, how the various biles come out. They all join in dissecting, the food. And how each department takes whatever it needs. What are we doing? To inside as well as outside. All that we need is a little seed of thinking. Manana should be there. So for enabling us to do this manana, in good old days they had introduced so many vows, Now we understand that. We remember we were just reading a few lines from Vinobaji's Moved by Love. So we happened to go through. I will just read out, because this is in connection with the vow. Why this vow? Mother had great respect for my father. But she also took a lot of notice of what I said. He was a boy then. Vinobaji was a boy then. School-going boy. For example, she had resolved at one time to offer to the Lord 100,000 grains of rice. Every day, as she made an offering, she took a handful of rice, offered 1 grain at a time, counting as she did so. Father saw what she was doing and said, "Why do you do it in that way? Why not weigh up 1 tola of rice?" 1 tola is, 11.3 grams of today. And count the number of grains in that. Then you can easily reckon upon how many tolas will make 100,000 grains. And you can add an extra half tola to be sure you have the full number. Mother did not know what to say then. So when I came home that evening, she asked me about it. "Vinaya, this is what your father suggests. What do you think about it?" Immediately Vinobaji answered, I said, "Well, this offering of yours, this 100,000 grains of rice, is not just a matter of accounts or arithmetic. It is a matter of devotion, done in the name of God and the saints. With every grain, you count, your mind is fixed on the name, so that you should go on counting one by one, I think. Mother was very pleased, told my father about it. The intelligence, that is, the intelligence behind the father, that is also right. From that standpoint, it is right. You wanted to offer 1,000 rice, and you are offering 1 lakh grains of rice. That is okay, easy. But here the purpose is to remember him. That remember him will not serve if we do the other method. So the purpose is to remember him. And when we remember him, we cut down or snap their pride. The reading of, such anecdotes from Mahatma's life, watching intently, he says, the observation and experience. That you will see, everybody loves greenery, Think about it. People who are staying in metro, they go on a holiday to some far off places, landscapes, mountains, resorts. Why? That joy you will not get anywhere. It cannot be conveyed. Because there you find, the different varieties of shrubs, trees, flowers, mountains, landscapes. Not man-made. People stay in resort, man-made cottages, paying very heavy. But they don't sit there throughout. They go out, Either they will go to the beach, or they will go to the zoo, or they will go to the park, or some scenic beauty. Evening they go and sit in the beach for the sunrise, sunset. Think about it, all those things, We all go there just casually, we say we enjoy and come back. It is not that. You are accepting what did Papa say? The greatness, omnipresence, omniscience, infinity and eternity of God. So we should have that attitude. We are all enjoying it, no doubt. But do we have this attitude? Papa is drawing our attention. When, of course, you will not be able to enjoy it because it is Malayalam. When a poet saw the sun setting, at the time of setting, it will be like, gold, a golden ball, slowly getting into the ocean. Rajani vanidakki charpan, nakshatramala panijayyuvadinnu vendi, Sauvarna pindamadurukki eduthu neeril mukkundida tapana mandala gaidavasana. The Lord wanted to give the lady of the night, whatever you call it, Nakshatramala. He wanted to give a garland of stars. For that he needs, how do you make a necklace? Only by heating the gold, then dipping it into the water, then hammering it, So, this is how it works, When Papa says you enjoy the omnipresence, omniscience, greatness, infinity, eternity of God. These poems were taught to us. Rajani vanidakki charpan. Rajani vanida means night, is compared to the lady. നക്ഷത്രമാല പണി ചെയ്യുവതിനു വേണ്ടി, to make it a nakshatramala, a garland of, a necklace of stars. Sauvarna pindam, golden, a ball. അത് ഉരുക്കിയെടുത്ത്, after melting it, മുക്കുന്നിതാ തപന മണ്ഡല കൈതവ. Because after that, you see the nakshatra, Before that, you don't see the nakshatra. Anyway, whatever may be the scientific reason behind it, we are just drawing the attention of the poet, He is not seeing the scientific aspect, the intellectual aspect. He is seeing the magnificence of God. That is why poets are always respected and revered in every language, Ultimately, they all somehow kindle the greatness, goodness, magnificence, omnipresence of God in so many words. So we have to devise some method, The best way to get rid of pride is to compare ourselves with God. If we think constantly of the glory, greatness and magnificence of God, our ego naturally ceases to assert itself and gradually dwindles into nothing. Because our intellect comes and says, I am intelligent, Hardly recognizing that the intelligence has come from him. The moment we forget him, the ego comes up, makes us say that we are doing everything and we are clever and so on. So if we keep our mind engaged in constant thought of God, there is no room for the ego to exist. Another mistake we all do, not that we have faith in Ramnam, we chant Ramnam. But after this chanting session, probably even during the chanting session also it is there. He is not chanting properly. We are comparing ourselves, our chanting with his chanting. The pride somehow comes, Actually, we are all doing Ramnam to get rid of this pride and access to the magnificence of God. But unknowingly, the fellow, even there it comes. And even if we are successful in enjoying the music, Ramnam, after we come out, so that means in our mind we have set apart the curbing of pride is limited to Ramnam session or bhajan session or satsang session. Rest of the time, suppose they call for a function, bhajan may be there or Ramnam will be there or satsang will be there. Immediately they bring a seat for you, okay. They are doing it because of their love, because of their consideration, which my pride will not agree with. Immediately, see, I am recognized more than others. I have gone for a satsang, I have gone for a Ramnam, I have gone for a bhajan. You say a few words, please. Immediately we go there, we speak a few words. And everybody says it is very interesting, inspiring. We hardly forget that the power to speak came from him. The topic just welled up in our heart. So many years of close association with those thoughts have helped us to bring out those words in that particular form. All this fellow will not permit us to remember. He will only permit us to remember that you are clever. That's what Papa says here, no? We are doing everything that we are clever and so on. The moment we forget him, the ego comes up and makes us say that we are doing everything, that we are clever and so on. So if we keep our mind engaged in constant thought of God, there is no room for the ego to exist. Okay, constant is not possible. As much as possible we will try, Could this be the reason why the rishis of yore retired to forest? Because they are one with the nature, No individual is there to remind him about the pride. We don't know. It might be. Yes. Only when I see an individual and when he says something, of course, in favor of me, then slowly the pride, which is lying dormant, gets kindled. Suppose I don't meet anybody. And simultaneously, if I develop communion with God, or in a particular day for a few hours, and I compare the experience I had on those hours where I did not have any contact, and those hours which I am having the contact. I am a good singer, but I become aware that I am a good singer only because somebody has acknowledged it, Until such time, I enjoy myself. We have to do a lot of thinking. Yes. I am a good writer, but I become aware that I am a good writer because somebody comes and says that you are a good writer. I am a speaker. I become aware that I am a good speaker when somebody comes and says that, just imagine. So, just because it has been accepted by, acknowledged by, appreciated by the outside, I become proud of myself. Otherwise, God has just made it to come out, that's all. Up to that, he has done. That is why sadhakas are immediately, especially Pujya Swamiji's words, as is my wont, I pass on to Papa. That is how he was able to probably cut down or negate or erase the pride in him. You have to start thinking. And craving comes for more and more recognition. And if I keep quiet, if you do well and if I keep quiet, you will ask me, how was my program? My program, it was not God's program. Oh. Though it only contains about 5-6 lines, how much Papa makes us to think about it. It's a real challenge for all of us. For sadhakas and devotees, earnest aspirants, this is a real challenge. Not that we wanted to become proud. We don't want. But somehow this fellow has become a permanent resident in me. So I am now just analyzing how he can be. It's difficult for me to throw him out, but to what extent I can cut down the wings. So again we will see, the best way to get rid of pride is to compare ourselves with God. If we think constantly of the glory, greatness, magnificence of God, our egoism naturally ceases to assert itself and gradually dwindles into nothing. The moment we forget him, the ego comes up and makes us say that we are doing everything, that we are clever. and so on. They are efficient, so on. They are intelligent. Leave it to me, I will handle it. We may be telling them in good faith, but we have also heard people, leave it to me, let me try. No? There is another way. With him, I will try. Mentally, he may not say that outwardly. Let him try. We will try. We will try to sort out the matter. With him. The moment we say, I will lie and do it, then, and I may be successful also in handling it. In the normal way, people look at it. And again, it gets puffed up. So, these are the things which we have to bear in mind at the time of chandigram now. The reason is the password. Because so long as this is there, we cannot open the door of God's inner mansion. Pride will come and say that, why should you go inside? I will manage outside. I can handle everything. You don't have to disturb him. This is what happens in all our case. No? We have faith in him, we have faith in the words of Master. Everything is there, Papa was blunt in telling at the time of sannyas, he says, last line, with a growing ego sense in it. I have been able to do this tapasya, this parasharana, this austerity, this much of self-denial. When we were remembering the Vinobaji's book, somewhere we happened to read that when Gandhiji wrote My Experiments with the Truth, when he completed the book, he wanted Vinobaji to do the proofreading. And then when they returned the book, there was a dialogue, very touching dialogue. He says, at the time when his autobiography was being published, he asked me, Vinobaji says, what I thought of it. You are a votary of truth, Vinobaji says, and you would write nothing false, so it can do no harm. I can't say how useful it will be, for each reader will take from it what suits himself. Immediately Bapu says, you have given me what I wanted. It is enough if it will not do any harm. Then he drew a big circle in the air with his finger. In the end, is that all our efforts come to zero. All we can do is to serve and leave it at that. Such a glorious life Gandhiji lived. And lakhs and crores of people have acknowledged. Just imagine. People call him Bapu, call him Mahatma, attribute so many things. But he says, he was very clear, this is one method of how Mahatma got rid of this pride, He drew a big circle in the air, zero, with his finger, and said, in all our efforts come to zero. All we can do is to serve and leave it at that. Whenever I am asked to sing, I sing. When I am asked to write, I write. When I am asked to cook, I cook. When I am asked to give medicine, I give medicine. When I am asked to give some counsel, I give. Leave it at that. Those words of his enthroned in my heart, they contain Bapu's whole philosophy. That we should become zero. Instead of a long lecture, drawing a circle in the air to remind us of the zero. Ultimately, we should become zero. Do that, but doesn't mean you should keep quiet. Do whatever you are prompted to do, leave it at. Whether this will help us or not, each one only knows. But these are some of the methods they employ. Very important aspect. Of course, in Gandhiji's case, the supremacy of God was not a thing to be known, not a thing to be discussed, not a thing to be accepted later. It has become a reality in him, Because, once, during his, he also gets this inner voice. Naturally, God is impersonal. So how can an impersonal bring the voice? Our intellect cannot answer this, Vinobaji has beautifully brought it out. That is the story of a personal encounter, in which one party asked and the other party answered, just as in the Gita, the Lord Krishna talked with Arjuna. Bapu was a votary of truth, so the accuracy of his report is not in doubt. He said that the Lord had spoken to him in person. So I asked him, do you think it's possible for the Lord to take a visible form? He said, no, I don't think so. But I did hear a voice clearly. How can that be? I asked. If the form is transient, so is the voice. And if he speaks in a voice, why should he also not appear in a form? Then I mentioned similar mysterious experience of others and recounted some of my own experiences. In the end, he agreed that although he himself had heard only a voice and seen no visible presence, that did not mean that a vision of God is impossible. Vision of God in the form. So here we find, the subservience to the Lord is total, The intellect has no right there to say it is not possible. The intellect is mellowed. The intellect is made known of its limitation. So pride can come when the intellect is made known of its limitation. It is purely an inward journey, and it cannot be got from reading, it cannot be got from anything else. Only by His grace we should be able to know His greatness. His greatness is in front of me, but I must have I must be the recipient of His grace to look at it from that standpoint. A tree is a tree. The intellect will say it is a tree, it will give me a lecture. But apart from that, the creative power, the wonderful selfless job it does, how it lives on the nature and how it pays back to the nature, how it does not assert itself, how there is a total self-denial. All those things the intellect will not be able to make me aware. Only when I look at it with that angle, if God has not blessed me with that angle, I will not be able to. That is why he says, Papa says, remembrance of God. The Nama is for remembrance of God. And these are all probably we can take it as the litmus test, whether the Nama is really purifying me. Nama is the great purifier, he says. So whether the Nama has been able to purify me. Because we are asking ourselves, I am doing Ramnam for so many years, but my craving for this has not stopped. Why? My attraction for this, my attachment towards this. It is there intact. Though I enjoy chanting, I do chanting, everything is going on. But is it helping me to purify myself? So today he wanted us to go deeper and deeper and deeper into this aspect. The question was, very often we make efforts to put down pride. And we often are proud at having made the very effort to get rid of pride. How can it be got rid of? Papa, the best way to get rid of pride is to compare ourselves with God. Compare ourselves with God. Compare, feel that God stands for electricity and all the gadgets, Suddenly we are working on something or seeing something, the light goes. What is our immediate reaction, As if heaven has come down, Terribly upset. We keep on blaming, In order to make us aware of this great truth, he gives us now and then this power failure. We call it as power failure, There is no power failure. Nothing happens to electricity. But only when the electricity is there, all gadgets, all my work, the light, and nowadays I think we are fully dependent upon it, you can see. So when we compare, we are there only because he is there in the form of life. He says, compare. He is there in the form of life. We have to compare ourselves with the life force. Only when the life is there, I am there, Intellectually again. This is an intellectual assessment. I have to convert it into an experiential assessment. Otherwise, again, my pride will say. So he says, compare yourself with God. If we think constantly of the glory, greatness and magnificence of God, all our bhajans, glories only, Yesterday evening we were telling, we hardly give any importance to the theme. There also we are, carried away by the tune, accompaniment, artist. You will immediately, have you heard MS Hari Tumhar? Hari Tumhar is important, no? Because MS was responsible because of her devotion, because of her identifying herself completely with the Lord. It came out so beautifully, no doubt. And when she sings, there is a charm, no doubt about it. But far, far, far from that, Mirabai's bhajan, that is the cream. Or when she sings Vaishnava Janato. Even today, I think...
all are praising only ever.
Yeah. Unknowingly, it comes. It's all right, we can praise MS, treating her as a form of God, no? God selected that instrument that we don't hardly. We give that attribute to that individual and it stops. Whereas that individual is such a noble person, she has never taken anything into her credit. The moment she comes and sits and, we all get that feeling. A noble soul is sitting and performing this. Because the moment she sings even this Hari Tumharo, Vaishnava Janato, all Mirabai songs, she will just become one with it. Because there in here, the audience is not there, only the deity and herself. That is why even though she has dropped the body, still it charms her. So the glory, greatness and magnificence of God, there also we fail. I used to think about this when we go to temple, when the Archak does the Archana, he is nothing but glories. But do we concentrate on the Archanas? We are in a hurry to get back to our place, When will he finish it? Give him some dakshina, take some prasad and then go. But the whole purpose of my coming to the temple is to connect myself to the glories of the Lord. All archanas, suppose you go through that, when we chant Vishnu Sahasranam, Lalita Sahasranam, after a few lines on the personal aspect, it will be slowly shifting to the universal aspect. So that it helps us to remember one at least. All archanas. Many years back, when somebody came here, they suggested, can you bring out this topic, Brahmajnanavali? Immediately, the God provided facilities for us to immediately locate these slokas and bring it out in the form of a PPT. And then, luckily, we had the projector. And then every word in it, every word in it. It was sung by one Swami of Chinmaya Mission, beautiful. But every word of it was only pointing us towards the indwelling and all-pervading reality. Niradhara Surupoham Sarvadhara. Like that. Anything, any sloka which you remember, it will connect. So like that, early morning we also chant these two slokas. Pradasmarami Hridam Spuradatmadattvam Satchitvam Paramaham Sagatim Tujiyam Yat Swapana Jagara Sushuptim Avidinityam Tadbrahmam Nishkalam Aham Najabhuda Sangraha Brahmanandam Paramasubhatam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Danduvadhitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamadhyadi Laksham Yekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvaji Sakshibhudam Bhavadhitam Trigunarehitam Sarvadhitam. Now just imagine any sloka. Let's say Papa has been telling you all forget this. Papa wanted us to learn a few slokas. Papa wanted us to learn one sloka from Bhagavad Gita also. He wanted us to read. Because the glories of God are inherent in it. Straight. All slokas. Dhyana slokas, Shanti slokas. Shanti mantras. We are glorifying the Almighty. Because we have got a personal form, we do it at the personal level. That's all. Not that he requires anything, not that he wants any acknowledgement, but because we are a person, we are after all these things, we compare God also to be acknowledged, so we acknowledge. God remains there untouched, unaffected by any of these things. He is not going to deny me anything if I don't do anything. But because I have got that mindset, I am offering whatever I have in my mindset. Now I also feel, when we read Papa's with these words, that it is to cut down my pride and to remind ourselves of the greatness by bringing into the mind the greatness, omnipresence, omniscience, infinity, eternity of God. Automatically the ego sense disappears. Compare. So the best way to get rid of pride is to compare ourselves with God. It's a beautiful word. So we must have something, some concept approximating to his characteristics. And then we immediately, And as a sadhaka and devotee, we remember Pujya Swamiji's oft repeated words. When somebody praises him or comments anything, you have done this, you have done that, immediately he will say, as is my wound, I pass it on to him. Pass it on to him means pass it on to God. He says, it came from God, it went back to God. Finally he will say like that. It was a test given, meted out to him, and it came from God and went back to him. When it was not owned. When you tell something, if I own it, it stays with me, I am not giving back to God. It started from God. God wanted to test me through the particular individual. But suppose I don't accept it. It is yours, If you are not facilitated, how can I deliver this? So Papa's word, the best way to get rid of pride is to compare ourselves with God. If we think constantly of the glory, greatness and magnificence of God, our ego sense naturally ceases to assert itself and gradually dwindles into nothing. The moment we forget Him, the ego comes up and makes us say that we are doing everything, we are clever, we are intelligent. So if we keep our mind engaged in constant thought of God, there is no room for the ego to exist. It is not by fighting darkness that you make it disappear, but by bringing in light. So by bringing into the mind the greatness, omnipresence, omniscience, the infinity and eternity of God, automatically the ego then disappears, as it cannot stand before the glory of God. We will all now pray only, By hearing it, this fellow will not go from our mind. So give us some technique by which we are reminded of your presence. Then this fellow will not. Because only you are there. So for that purpose you make me to chant. So that is the password. Password to connect to the divine within. We will close with that Jakaro Janma Vichetaha Pakaro Papanashanaha Janma Karma Haro Yasmaru Tasmat Japa Iti Sprataha. The letter Ja of the Japa stands for that which puts an end to the cycle of birth and death. And the letter Pa stands for that which removes or destroys all impurities and obstructions. Therefore, Japa is an indirect means for liberation, moksha, says Swami Dayanji Maharaj. Jakaro Janma Vichetaha Pakara Papanashana. Janma karma haro yasmat. Tasmat japa iti. See, this sloga, when we read it, with the meaning, it gets stamped in our heart. That's why Papa insisted that we should learn a few slogas. Even in the letter written to the other day, we read out, to Puja Swamiji. When he wrote a letter after adopting sannyas from Rishikesh, when he wrote a letter seeking Papa's blessings, in that blessing letter, Papa made it very clear about these things. It comes back often to our mind. Either be regular in your morning meditation, ensure that no tamasic influence from within and without enter, learn a few shlokas, occasionally have the darshan of Shivanji Maharaj, and when you are not doing anything, chant. Anything above, you chant Ramnam.
Read a little only, don't read much.
Read. You can read a little. Because it becomes an addict, We spend more time in reading. Read. But unknowingly, we are not going inward. So that is what he specifically told about shlokas. And then after reading that, we remember many slokas or poems, 2 lines, 3 lines. That has been our guiding principle, we should say that. Not that everything when we started attending Gita or Shankara's work, not that every sloka we remember, but certain slokas we remember. Then we know the power of the slokas. Papa in his talks always Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Every time he will bring it up. There are certain mantras or slogas which get stuck because it directly links us with God and easy to remember. So today he was talking about curbing the pride, So we try to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Pray to him, Not by our effort this can be got down. 100%. Because the questioner said, I become proud. What did he say? Very often we make efforts to put down pride, and we often are proud at having made the very effort to get rid of that pride. We don't know. Devotee. It's so striking, This is a real fact. A real fact. How many years I did, this tapas for this, to get this. How many years? Oh, I never mentioned. God made me to do it. God facilitated me. Never. How many years of tapasya? We'll take it. Very often we make efforts to put down pride, and we often are proud at having made the very effort to get rid of pride. How can it be got rid of? Then Papa says the best way to get rid of pride is to compare ourselves with God. If we think constantly of the glory, greatness, magnificence of God, our ego sense naturally ceases to assert itself and gradually dwindles into nothing. The moment we forget Him, ego comes up, makes us say that we are doing everything, we are clever and so on. So if we keep our mind engaged in constant thought of God, there is no room for the ego to exist. It is not by fighting darkness that you make it disappear, but by bringing in light. So, by bringing into the mind the greatness, the omnipresence, the omniscience, the infinity and eternity of God, automatically the ego disappears, as it cannot stand before the glory of God. Only one page we could complete. Small book. You cannot see the book, only this one. Small book. and we completed only one page today. We don't think we have completed. We have just started the theme. So let us all pray to him. You have facilitated so much for us to detect our real problem. And this is a very serious problem. It's a major surgery is needed. And only the surgeon can do it. So we pray to him. Yesterday evening when we were sitting, some talk came about, Papa often says about cry, weep, appeal, plead, Then we immediately remembered the first page of the first chapter of the first page of the first chapter of the first book. In Quest of God, he says, heart's cry. Then only it answers. So nothing else. Not my austerity, not my commitment, not my resolve, not my knowledge, not the memories of various books. But in Papa's case, he says the heart's cry clearly gives us the answer. So we all try to have the heart's cry. Pining for it. So, Papa, you have taken us this much, make us to cry. Even this crying, we need somebody to help us. Otherwise, I will take credit of whatever else. So, even to make me cry, you please pour your grace on me. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.